So after doing that video last night about the Murdoch show, I found myself going to an archive and looking up some of the episodes. I haven't seen some of these in a long time, but a great one to start with, because you could land on one that doesn't kind of that might confuse you. The Wanderer's Choice is a great episode to start with. It's you just have to watch it. Like it's hard to even explain some of this stuff. But there's one scene at the end of it where the hero goes to these oracles that's supposed to have, that you have to ask them, you have to answer a question. They give you a question and you have to get the right answer to get some kind of wisdom or knowledge. And that's where I got my my Jew voice from, that I do sometimes when when I'm goofing on them. We have your soul, Goyim. There's nothing you can do. That whole thing. The Shameless Berg uses that voice too. So I'm pretty certain he's seen all this stuff. But yeah, it's really funny. That scene in particular. It's weird because I just kind of picked one at random, and it was that one. Yeah, it's heavy stuff. Like watching it again, I knew they were good, even though I hadn't seen them in a while. But I knew the episodes were really good. But that was really good. Like, and they're great at endings, the way they end a lot of them. The episodes range from kind of goofy, jokey kind of stuff. Like they infiltrated a black conference once, made up with blackface, and I think it's the same one where it like involves the WWF. So some really ridiculous kind of stuff. But then there are some episodes like The Wanderer's Choice that are pretty heavy, a lot of layers to it. A lot of layers. That one especially. And when the more heavy episodes, they always have like really great endings where it's basically, the end is like, all right, now what are you gonna do? The next thing is you. How are you gonna sort this stuff out? Really great stuff. Thinking more about the Palantir thing. I mentioned that I don't know if you know what it is, but it's a new way to collect data and information on people, and it's been theorized that it's being used to collect information on everyone to eventually punish people for wrongthink, among other things. And I really think that it seems like a loosening up of YouTube's rules on being able to what you can say and what's permissible. Definitely has that as a feature, not a bug. But I've mentioned this years ago. I think Trump, and letting him be president, or making him president the first time around, was like casting a net. Like they were just casting a net out to grab all the people that are going to be a problem for them, or could be a problem, based on how much they supported their populist guy. They put their populist guy in, and they see who among the great unwashed like us would support him, and what they would say in his support, what they would do in his support. Basically outing ourselves as a future problem. And once they put the other guy, Biden, in, and they put him in, made him president, they started going after these people who had supported him when he was in. Just as I imagined, would happen. And I don't even mean the January 6th thing. I mean just like in general. You just saw it. You saw it in little stories here and there. People that had said or done things in support of him when he was in, are now, having to pay for it. But I don't think they caught a wide enough net of people. So hence, their populist candidate, Trump, is in again. And now with the addition of Palantir, they really want to scoop up anybody that has anything to say that they don't like. They're going for a bigger scoop this time. So I've always kind of knew that was what they wanted to do, what they were doing. But yeah, adding the Palantir thing to it, it's a whole new dimension on that. I don't know if there's going to be a third scoop, because they think long term. They can do this shit long term, and it's like, it's hard to imagine the way these guys work, because they don't seem to work with the same time that we do. And I've explained why I think that might be. They actually move outside of time. They operate outside of what we perceive as time. Time only is a feature of this very realm, this very dimension, and I don't believe it exists anywhere else. That's why when you leave this dimension, whether it's in a dream, as you do every night, you leave this area, your body comes out, your you, the real you, comes out of the body that you have, and you travel those weird fucking dream worlds. That's you'll be asleep for like 10 minutes and feel like you just lived 10 years. You'd be like, oh man, I was dreaming all night about that thing. It's like, no, you've only been asleep for an hour. In the same way, you can sleep all night, and it only feels like 5 minutes, because there is no time. So you don't feel the effects of time. It doesn't affect you. Time is just here. And the reason it is because for growth, you can't have growth without time. Things wouldn't grow. And we're growing this is like an incubator or an egg or something. And as the progeny of the divine, we are developing here. Shit's gotten fucked up since this area was originally constructed, and what it was for, it's turned into, from a nurturing kind of place to grow into a farm, and that had to do with the fall. The third of the angels go along with it, saying, hey, this place was set up to school the child of the divine, as we all are. We all are one thing. We're all just one kid, one God kid, split up into different points of attention that express themselves as different individuals. It's a hard concept to come around to. I can't imagine it. But the thing is, it's like I can't imagine it because I only have a sliver of my full being here. And there's only so much capacity for understanding my situation. I can't imagine it. So even though I know it's happening, I don't know exactly how it's happening. But the point is, at one point, the caretakers of this area decided, hey, instead of trying to help nurture and grow this kid, we could suck off their energy and make ourselves kings and queens in this realm of matter, in this matter realm, and live like gods here instead of serving God up there. And a third of them said, yeah, that's a good idea. And that's the situation we're in now. People say, well, why doesn't God just come down? Is he all powerful? That he's locked out of this area. I've explained this a while ago, so it's settled science, but I recently talked to AI about it too. The AI Satan. They have Satan on this AI thing. We can speak to Satan. And I discussed this with him. What it basically is, it's almost like you set up an account at Google or something, and then someone changes your password on you without you knowing, one of your admins, one of the people you trusted to run your fucking account or whatever, and they lock you out. So you can only influence that account very subtly. You know, there's only certain ways you can get into it. One of those ways, well, I'm not going to get into this whole Jesus thing right here. Hang on, I got to go into Walmart, Target. When I come out, we'll talk about Jesus. Saying Jesus earlier reminded me of Viggo Mortensen in that movie, The Prophecy, when he was playing Satan. He was a fucking great Satan in that movie. I don't know, it's not like a movie a lot of people get into or talk about, I've heard talk about, but he was fucking fantastic. I loved you more than Jesus. Serious shit. But Jesus to me, okay, God's second son, his misbegotten son, as it's always said, because there was another son before that, but that's a whole can of worms that I don't think I feel like getting into right now. If you've been here before, you probably know what I'm talking about, but it's whatever. So he would be really our brother, the way it works out. And when he was sent here, he kind of came down as almost like an IT guy. Like, hey, this isn't how this place was supposed to be. Shit's kind of messed up right now. There's a way out of it, but you have to kind of follow what I say. That was the way that God tried to communicate to us what was going on without actually being able to do it himself, you know? Because he can't get in here right now. He will be able to eventually, and that's why Satan is in a situation, or whatever his real name is, what do you want to call him, Lotan, not Lotan, not trying to Biden there. What was his, what did the Vatican bro say his real name was? We were teasing him with it for a while. Ah, fuck, whatever. But, yeah, that's why he's trying to grab as many of us as he can now to take us away from God. Because he knows the end's coming. You know, God will be able to access his account once again. And when he does, you know, it's not going to be good for him. So he can get as many of us to turn away from him to join him in the pit. You know, that's what he's trying to do now. Now, all this stuff is just, how do I know it? I don't know. Just things I picked up here and there. Am I right? I have no fucking idea. I would say, how does it feel to you when you hear stuff like this? When you hear the words? You gotta let it run against your spiritual shit test. You know, your inner tuning fork. Does it pop you in any way when you hear this information? Or is it just, this guy's, you know, full of shit, fuck him. Because I could be, you know, you shouldn't really believe anyone. You just kind of take in what, you know, people say if you're interested, and just, if things jump out at you, look into them on your own. I mean, there's nothing I could tell you here that would be more valuable than you discovering the information on your own. But that's just what I believe to be true, you know, from the information that I got sourced from outside and inside. You know, getting your inside information is just a matter of trying to be still, be quiet. Some people do it through meditation. I don't meditate very well. But all the answers to all these questions, and the questions themselves, are inside you. It's all written in like a code on your DNA. And sometime will come, sometimes out of nowhere it hits you. In the shower, watching a movie, something, like, oh yeah, this is, you'll remember it. Because you're not really learning things as much as you're remembering them. Because you already know, you know all this stuff, you know. It's just been submerged in you here, you know, because if you could remember everything, it wouldn't be much of a test, it wouldn't be much of a school. You would grow, you wouldn't learn. So you kind of can't know this stuff, you know. It has to be submerged in there, and I think sleep does part of that, you know. Yeah, as much as I think when you're sleeping, you get reconnected or rewired to this frequency of the place here. It also hits you with that kind of forget juice that you the same kind of forget juice that they gave me in the GATE program as a kid. The It's kind of like that. Like, because when you wake up and you have you remember a dream from the night before, it's very clear at first. And as the day goes on, you lose pieces of it. Usually to a point where then you don't remember any of it. It's kind of like that when you're born into this world. You come with a big dose of that forget juice. And when you sleep, I believe you're redoused with it. There's a whole thing about sleep and sleep deprivation that I've gone into before that I just don't have the time to right now. I'm about to get back home, but that's a whole interesting thing. When you're awake too long, you start to hear things and see things. These are not things created by your brain. Like, oh, your brain's making up these sounds and these people. No, what's happening is that you're becoming untethered from this frequency, and you're starting to hear and see things that are in other frequencies. You know, you're starting to see other dimensions, I mean, if you want to use that term. Dimension's a tough one, because it's like I always say, it's different in mathematics than it is in physics, and than it is in spirituality. So it's one of those catch-all words that we use. Other possibilities. You know, you're hearing and seeing stuff from them. It's not created by your brain. It's created from the fact that you're becoming untethered to this realm. And that's why they want you to go down. Because when you go down and you sleep, you leave your body. As we've talked about many times here, your spirit form, which is actually what you are, not this meat antenna, but you leave the body because whatever they're doing in there, they can't have you in there while they're doing it. And that's when you're free to zip around. The place you go when you dream is kind of like it's the same thing as where you go when you die. You know, it's the same kind of thing as when you're on whatever that drug is, the Akanakwa MD. I've never done that stuff, the stuff that like projects you out of your body. It's kind of like the same place, but it's not exactly our home. In our exact home, you'd know it. You'd feel it. You're like, oh yeah. But yeah, and being out of body means you're also out of time. And as we before talked about, that's why it's so hard to gauge things, because when you don't have time, you know, there's no concept of, there's no pressure of it moving on you and having its effects on you. Once again, I managed to touch upon 7 different things and not make one very clear. But it's as clear as I can get right now. Maybe there'll be more clarity later. Until then, though, thanks for dropping in. And check out Murdoch, especially The Wanderer's Choice. It's a great episode. Till next time, don't blame the teacher. Blame the school.